Bust Coverage Sports.
Thank you all for joining us here at Busted Coverage Sports. Whether it be from searching us out or by total accident, we appreciate you being here and hopefully we can sway you into coming back. We have big plans for this channel encompassing all things sports gaming, including Madden, NBA 2K, PGA 2K, MLB The Show, and much more. We have decided to kick it off with something we have had a blast doing and hopefully you'll enjoy as well. NCAA Football 20 COVID season.
But I just gotta know one thing. Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready?
All right, well, first of all, welcome. Thank you for clicking on the video. This is Busted Coverage. You know, with the COVID going around this season, times are definitely different. And with college football being a questionable thing right now, we decided we would give the fans what they want, which is a college football season. So our job is to give you the season that you wanted to see for your team, and we'll definitely be talking about them. Again, thank you for stopping by.
All right. When we were first throwing these ideas around, we were going to go with some Madden 20 mods and run them that way. But when we started looking into it, there's this software called RPCS3, and it's a PS3 emulator for Windows. It will play just about any PlayStation 3 game out there that I've seen. They issue multiple updates daily. It's unreal how many updates these guys are putting out. You should really, if you're able to, go support them on Patreon and pick up this piece of software, because it's if you don't have a PlayStation 3 anymore like me, it's the only way to go. Their Patreon will be in the description and linked in this video, so it'll be easy to find. And then the next step was finding some 2020, 2021 rosters, and we found those at Operation Sports. It's a large team working on it, and it's unreal how fast they're knocking these out. With the COVID and players opting out, seems like every day these guys are updating an unreal amount of players in an insane short amount of time. So I would please go and support them also, and the link to their roster will be in the description also. Okay, before we get to NCAA football, I'll just let you know some of our plans for the channel moving forward. I'd also like to tackle a Madden rebuild, maybe the Dolphins with Tua or the Bengals with Burrow. The Dolphins got four draft picks in the first two rounds, so that might be a way to go.
It's going to be a fun team.
Yeah. Us doing this NCAA, we'll be able to scout out these college players coming up next year.
Yep.
My draft will be top notch. And I'd also like to tackle some PGA, maybe go a career with the new PGA 2K coming out. I think that could be fun. And also, if there was any other time left between this and Madden, I would like to maybe get some NASCAR in, just to spread out the sports to a larger variety of people. You have any plans with the channel other than NCAA?
Oh, I really like the idea of the PGA thing, especially with the game being out right now. It's newer. It's there's a lot of YouTube videos on it right now, and people seem to like it. I mean, they're getting views. So I think doing something with PGA would be a really fun thing to do because I'd like to play the game.
The video that will be popping up now, we found from Lucas Raphael on YouTube. His link will be in the video and in the description. If this video doesn't get you pumped up for college football, I really don't know what will. It's insane, the editing and the amount of time he's put into this, and he does all kinds of sports videos. It's really worth a subscribe to go over there. It's unreal. And you want to go? Let's just go ahead and jump into the breakdown of what we're going to do for NCAA.
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Oh, okay. It's going to be the Power 5 conferences only. So I know that's going to leave out Central Florida. Who else am I forgetting? I mean, that's the big one, I guess. Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a few schools that aren't going to get showcased, and that's, I mean, it sucks, but the Power Five is really what, that's what holds true to college football.
Yeah, and
so for those fans, we're sorry about it.
We will, however, get Notre Dame in. They're going to be added to the ACC. They're eligible for the ACC championship game this year anyway, so we stuck them in there, adjusted schedules. A few conferences have adjusted schedules. It's going to be an 11-game or 11-week schedule. I think it's 10 games each team getting one bye. And then on the 12th week, all conferences will have a championship game. And this is the big thing. It's going to be an 8-team playoff. You hear that, NCAA? 8-team playoff.
What it already should be.
Should be. Maybe eventually will be. I don't know.
People have been asking for it for all this time, and we still can't get it.
The winner of the 5 conference championship games will automatically receive automatic bids into the 8-team playoff. The other 3 will be at large bids, determined by a ranking system. Maybe we put polls out on Twitter. Comments in the comment section. So how it should be done now.
Yeah.
Really.
It's exactly how it should be done now.
With that said, you want to introduce our inaugural COVID countdown, top 25?
Yeah, man, let's get into it. So with I'll start us off with coming at 25 for the upcoming season. We've got the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Now, first off, do you have any automatic thoughts about this team?
Really, I mean, the only thing you need to know about Mississippi State is they brought in Mike Leach.
Yep.
That's the best. That's my favorite coach to watch in college football. His offensive system is just unreal. It'll be interesting to see how it translates to the SEC with powerhouse defenses they usually all have. But for number 25, I mean, it's not really that – it doesn't make or break a team being ranked 25th. So just to show him some love, and I'll be interested to see what they can do. They got KJ Costello coming in from transfer from Stanford.
That's what I was going to say. It's going to be interesting to see what can happen with the new transfer coming in with the new coach. It'll be a good refresher for the both of them. Trying to get to know each other and whatnot.
Yeah, he really was limited last year. He was hurt most of the season with various injuries. He only played 5 games. But, I mean, he threw for over 1,000 yards in those 5 games, so he's –
yeah, I mean, the numbers he put up weren't bad. I mean, to throw for over 1,000 in 5 games, I mean, that's good. I mean, decent completion percentage.
So, and now
it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
With Mike Leach, you're automatically elevated.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be a fun team to watch. Kylan Hill,
Colin
top
Hill.
running back. Yeah, he's a good player. Looking
I
at their
mean,
schedule, I mean they start off with an easy one, Arkansas. That should be a win.
yep.
And then you got some tough ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
week 2, you're at LSU. You're going to Louisiana. That's going to be a very good. That'll give us a good idea of what that quarterback and coach combination can really do.
yeah, I think 6-7 last year.
Yep.
They'll be better than that this year. I would think. I would think it's gonna. I mean, it's a tough schedule, but there's
And I mean,
some.
they lost a few. I mean, they lost a few guys, but at the same time, they brought back more guys than they lost. That
Yeah,
helps. You're keeping
yeah.
team chemistry there.
Okay. Number 24, the Washington Huskies.
Washington Huskies.
Pac-12
Uh,
tough defense. Defense will be tough. They
yep.
did lose Jacob Eason. That hurts.
That's a big loss. I seen that. Yeah.
8-5 last year. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Washington. They got a
They got a freshman. I mean, they got a freshman coming in that I don't know, man. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. 24 is not bad. I mean, looks
looking
like they're
at
gonna be using. Looks like Richard Newton is going to be the guy to go to with the running back spot.
yeah. I don't know a whole lot about him,
I
but
mean, 117 attempts, almost 500 yards. I mean, anytime you've got a younger quarterback, it's going to be tough. It's going to take time. I mean, they got Stanford and Arizona as their first 2 games of the season. So, I mean, really, you're going to have to, if you're the coach, you got to sit down and you got to talk to the quarterback. You got to talk to the young guy.
yeah, they don't. They didn't. They lost the quarterback, which is always going to be a big deal. But they didn't lose a whole lot. I think they could be solid. I don't know if they'll. I don't know if they'll compete for the Pac-12 championship, but they could.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if Pac-12 championships where they plan to be, especially with the new coming in quarterback. But I mean, I guess they could. I mean, they were 8-5 last year. I mean, it'll be interesting. And yeah, you lost your quarterback, but I mean, really, you brought most of your people back. So I mean, it'll be interesting.
You move on to 23.
Number 23, the Arizona State Sun Devils. Now these, I mean, you got anything to say about Arizona State right off the top of your
Uh,
head?
I like their coach too, Herm Edwards. He's
Herm Edwards, yeah.
he's one of my guys. I like him. He brings a lot of energy, and they got some guys coming in that are supposed to be unreal. Is it? I think it's at running back. 2 running backs are supposed to be studs. It'll be interesting to see what they do with I don't know how you say it, Demonte Trainum and Daniel Nada. Supposed to be
Yeah.
studs. It'll be fun to watch. And Frank Darby coming back. He's a playmaker. And
Yeah, man. I mean, we've heard a lot of good things about these 2 young running backs coming in. Now, I don't know how they're going to do I guess they'll just half carries. I'm not sure how they'll do that, but I'm sure that's something they'll figure out as they start playing games. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, those two guys right there. I mean, it's good to have guys coming in like that or you're going to be able to get a lot of work out of.
And quarterback's back, Jaden Daniels. He threw as a freshman last year, threw for almost 3,000 yards. So he's a
Yeah,
player.
I mean, he 100 125 rushing attempts, 355 yards. So, I mean, he's not afraid to run either.
Yeah, this team could be fun to watch.
Yeah,
Got they got some playmakers.
they do. It's going to be interesting. You know, you gave your quarterback a year, so I mean, he knows what to expect. It's going to be interesting having those two running backs and then having a quarterback that's not afraid to run either. And like you said, Herm Edwards, great coach. You know, he
Yeah,
led them to an 8-5 record last year. I mean,
yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
interesting.
It's they could do that again. I could see that. I mean, they got some winnable games. Stanford, Arizona for sure. Cal be tough, but they can win that one. Oregon State's tough. Oregon will be. I don't know if. All right, ready to move on to 22.
Number 22. Sure, go for it.
The Iowa Hawkeyes out of the Big Ten. First Big Ten team on the board.
First Big Ten. I mean, well, they got Spencer Petras as the quarterback. You know, I mean, it didn't get to do a whole lot last year
No, he was a
with
freshman.
losing
uh,
with
He was
losing Nate
behind.
Stanley.
Yeah,
I mean, but I'm sure that he taught him. You know, I'm sure that they've worked on stuff. So I don't know.
yeah,
It'll be interesting. It's always interesting when you're bringing in new quarterbacks like that.
yeah. That's I mean, we've seen so far. I mean, quite a few of these teams in new quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting ready to say a lot of these teams are young. I mean, you're bringing in young quarterbacks and running backs. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch. I mean, the running back last year was a freshman, 638 yards.
And Amir Smith Marset, he's a ball. He's a playmaker for sure. So I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
not.
the dude had almost 730 yards last year. That'll be interesting to watch. And they got Brandon Smith. You know, injury held him back.
We should also put a disclaimer in here that these rosters returners were all based the majority before all the COVID opt out stuff happened. So I mean, all these are subject to change. I guess Iowa, being a Big Ten team, probably hasn't announced any really opt outs because they're the whole conference opt out.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much going with what those teams are really going by. I mean, stuff's changing every day, so we're just doing what we can to keep it updated as possible. And again, shout out to those that are helping create it. Those guys are working every day to get those
Yeah,
mods done.
it's unreal the kind of time they're putting in.
So make sure
I
to
can't.
give them some love.
Yeah, I can't keep up with just hearing the names opting out every day, and they're somehow getting them edited in the game. It's crazy. All right, we'll move on to 21.
Number 21, the North Carolina Tar Heels.
I like their playmakers. They got some receive. They got some dudes at receiver. Daz Newsom, he's a baller. De'Ami
Yeah.
Brown, he's a baller.
Yeah, I mean, both of those dudes go for over 1,000 last year, you know?
Yeah, this team's their offense is no joke.
I mean,
And
10 they
now,
go for 22 combined touchdowns. I mean, that's insane for a couple of receivers.
yeah,
I mean, that gives your quarterback a lot to work with too.
yeah, these guys are good. Sam Howell's not bad at quarterback.
No, I mean, was a freshman that threw for a little over 3,600 yards. I mean,
Yeah, 38 touch.
passing touchdowns.
That's unreal.
Yeah, as a
As a
freshman. This is
Yeah,
a fun
it's
team to watch, man.
they
At
are for sure.
21, at 21, I could definitely see them being way higher than that by the end of the season.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
they can for
they
sure.
got some dudes.
I also like Chaz Surratt on the defensive end. He's at the linebacker position. He's a playmaker too. He's a game changer.
I mean, this team's going to be something, man. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch.
I just now noticed I like Chaz Surratt so much I put him on there twice.
I see. I hear you. Big fan of the defensive side of the
How
ball.
strong I feel about this guy. He's going to be good.
Giving the defense some love. I appreciate that.
And they start out with winnable games. Tech and Tech.
Tech and Tech, man.
That's
Then they're on the road for 3 weeks.
Yeah, they're on the road for 3 weeks straight. That's tough.
That's tough.
But I mean, they're not tough opponents. Virginia, that should be a win. Duke, that should be a win.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it could be a tough one.
yeah, I mean, you're going to Florida, man. You're going to play them. You know, that's a crazy atmosphere too. So that would be a tough game. But then they get a week off, so
Yeah,
they get a little
week
bit of
off.
time to rest.
Yeah, I think they could make a run at the conference. I could see that.
I could definitely see them being a big team this year for sure.
Get Clemson at home. That's big.
Yep. It's going to be a tough game. Clemson's always a tough game.
Oh yeah. I don't know if they'll.
But I mean, it's coming off pretty much coming off of an off week, so they're going to be somewhat rested. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Clemson can do with those two wideouts.
Yeah, it's going to be it could be a shootout for sure.
You'll move on to number 20.
Move to number 20. We got the USC Trojans. USC, they're always ranked up in the top 25, it seems, and they always underachieve, it seems.
Yeah, they're definitely one of those teams that you're going to see in the top 25, but if you give it halfway through a season, they're not performing what they're expected.
These that's the thing about these preseason first week top 25s. It goes by what's on paper, and on paper they're always they're loaded every year.
Yeah, I mean coming off of a freshman quarterback last year and Kadon Slavas, dude threw for 3,500 yards as a freshman, you know?
Yeah, he's
30
he's a baller.
touchdowns. And he's not afraid to run, man. 93 attempts on 249 yards. I mean, he's a quarterback that's going to do it on throwing and running. He's going to use his arm and legs.
And they got a couple of dudes at receiver, St. Brown and Vaughns. St. Brown over 1,000 yards last year, 6 touchdowns. Vaughns had 6 touchdowns as well. That's something that he's got a couple of weapons for sure. They could be really good. They should be really good.
I mean, we're starting off with UCLA in California. I mean,
That's 2 easy ones, I would imagine.
Yeah, and that's all it takes. If you get a couple of wins off the start of the season, you're going to boost the whole team morale a lot just by getting a couple of wins to start the season.
Yeah.
Off weeks in middle of the schedule.
That's always nice.
That's always good to have. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, they lost a couple of guys. They lost Pittman.
Pittman, yeah, lost a good receiver.
They did lose a good receiver. But I mean, you brought back 2 other ones. You know, It's not like you're not hurting. It'll be interesting.
They should be good. But
had a good record last year, but I mean, like we say, they're always good on paper, but they never seem to do anything with it.
No. Like to see them make a run at the conference championship, But until they prove me wrong, I'm just going to assume that this is the team they are. They'll stay around 20th, 25, somewhere in there. They'll just can't ever put the talent all together, it seems like.
They're one of those teams that everybody's really, really excited to watch when the season starts off.
Yeah.
By week 6, week 5, week 6, no one talks about them because there's nothing to talk about. I mean, they're gonna stay in the top 25, but they're not gonna go past 20.
Yeah, I mean,
That's just
I'm
the football team they are. I mean,
they're a team the other teams see on the schedule, and they circle that one because that's a big game for them.
yeah.
And they play the tough teams tough, and then they'll lose to somebody they have no business losing to.
Yeah, which wouldn't surprise me if a UCLA or a California sneaks a win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's start of the season. It's hard to tell what'll happen the first couple of weeks.
You move on to 19.
Number 19, we have the Iowa State Cyclones. And first thing that jumps out to me is they lost a few guys. I mean, they had some people that left.
Yeah.
A bunch of defense.
Yeah, they lost defense for sure.
But, I mean, they're bringing back a quarterback. I mean, he threw for almost 4,000 yards last year. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah, Brock. I mean, as West Virginia fans, we know all about Brock Purdy. He makes plays with his arm or his legs.
Yeah, I mean, dude ran for 249 yards. I mean, a lot of that was probably against West Virginia. As bad as we hate to say that.
And I heard good things about Xavier Hutchinson. He came from JUCO, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Apparently, he was a baller in junior college, so we'll see.
Junior college never gets any love, but I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Looks like they're gonna be using Breece Hall at running back this year. I mean,
he's a player too.
He's not afraid to run. He's not afraid to run the ball, or he'll go out and be a receiver for you. 252 yards receiving last year. I mean, that's 897 rushing. I mean, it's not a number that jumps out to you, but I mean, he's a solid bag to have. It looks like.
Yeah. They started out with a winnable game, and then they go play a not so winnable game in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma week 2, man, that's tough. But that's a chance for them to say, you know, we're here to play, or they won't show up, and that'll just be another team that.
That's a big time early matchup in the Big 12.
I mean, even if they're just keeping that game close, that's big. You know, Oklahoma week 2 is not easy. No one expects that to be an easy game. So I mean, that'll be interesting.
But Oklahoma, I mean, we'll get to them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The Utah Utes.
Oh, Utah Utes.
12 team. Man, the Pac. This is number 4.
Tell you what, man, got a transfer coming in at the QB position. That's gonna.
Yeah, they lost Tyler Huntley. I mean, that's probably what's dropped them down on this list. They've lost a bunch.
Look, I mean, yeah, both sides of the ball too.
Yeah.
That hurts, man. But hey, you bring in a transfer. That seems to be something West Virginia's great at. You lose a quarterback, you go out and find a transfer. Deal with some injury. It kind of held him back. And his numbers reflect that too. But, I mean, he's getting a full season. It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, you're coming not that the Pac-12 isn't. I mean, they play defense out there, but you're coming from the SEC to the Pac-12. It's got to be an easier adjustment than vice versa.
Oh yeah, you'd much rather come into the Pac-12 than come into the SEC. Not saying that the Pac-12 is not challenging defensively, but I mean the SEC's, you know,
Yeah,
that's the powerhouse
we'll
for
see too.
defense.
Costello with Mississippi State, he's coming from the Pac-12 and going to the SEC. So I mean, we'll have both views at it.
Yeah, I mean we'll either look great and be smart, or we'll look like idiots and don't know what we're talking about. That's it's always a possibility, I guess. But
You
again,
want
man, 18. I mean, 18. They dropped a little bit. I mean, they were 11-3 last year. You
oh,
know, I mean, and look what you lost. I mean, yeah, it's going to hurt you. It's going to drop you regardless of what you bring in.
I think everybody sees it as more building phase, but
And
maybe
I mean,
they got time. That's why they play the games.
yeah, and I mean, it's not a rebuilding season's not terrible. You just don't want that to turn into 2 to 3 rebuilding seasons. But
Honestly,
yeah,
if you're
man.
gonna, well, I mean, obviously the Pac-12 is not playing at all, so it doesn't. The point's moot. But if you're going to have a rebuilding season, it would probably you'd prefer it to be this season where it's just weird anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So this gives them time to reload. It's more. I don't. All right. I know the talk's playing in the spring. I don't think they'll play in the spring.
The way it's looking right now, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. But I mean, with the off season, you give your quarterback time to get used to the play style that you want, which is a big help.
You want to move on to 17?
17, Michigan Wolverines. Again,
It's a
another team that really lost a lot of defense this year.
It's also another team that always seems to just underperform. They're right there with USC.
And I mean, they got Jim Harbaugh. I mean, it's not a lot of people say NFL coaching and college coaching are different things. And I mean, like you said, they never seem to be able to make a jump.
I don't know how many more opportunities Harbaugh is going to get.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're
he was successful with the 49ers, but that doesn't obviously it doesn't transfer.
you got. I mean, you've got a quarterback at. You know, he didn't play, but he was behind Shea Patterson. So I mean, it's another one of those things where you could say it's good to be behind somebody that you can learn from.
Yeah.
But I mean,
They've lost a lot. I do like Nico Collins. He's a next level. I think it's at least for me, it's fair to say I know more about the NFL than I do this college. I'm really just learning about a lot of these players for the first time doing this.
right.
I know Nico Collins has next level talent. He will be starting on Sundays somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the dude puts up numbers.
He's a good player.
You got him, and they got Ronnie Bell. I mean, that right there is two guys that, stat wise, you could say are going to be dependable every day that you need them. And when you've got a young quarterback coming in, that's what you need.
And the schedule, they should. I mean, Purdue's not going to be a rollover. That'll be a tough matchup, but I think they should win that one. Minnesota will be tough. Penn State will be tough. Rutgers won't. I mean, that should be a win.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're looking at losses, I see maybe I could see him losing 4 again this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the record's going to be about the same. I mean, I could see 4 losses again this year.
Yeah.
You know, you got games like Ohio State in there. That's a tough game towards the end of the season. I mean, we'll see what
Yeah.
they can do.
The only
Again, like you said, though, Jim Harbaugh is running out of opportunities. You know, how many times can you continue to lead a team to be decent.
Yeah, I don't know how content they can be with that much longer.
I mean, at the beginning, it was, oh, we got an NFL coach. How far is it now? And you're still hanging around the 17 top 25 spot.
Yeah, he's been getting the pass for a while now, and I just don't. I mean, maybe he's not. Maybe he is on the hot seat. We're not tuned into Michigan football to know. But
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. I mean, you know your team better, and we know your team.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I mean, you probably know them better than even if they aren't your team.
True. Yeah.
We're learning a lot of this for the first time.
We're learning as we go. But, I mean, that's part of the fun of it. You get to learn these guys.
And this helps me draft if I do my Madden rebuild. So,
Yeah, it's like a little cheat sheet.
oh, yeah. Scouting all these guys.
All right, number 16. We got the Wisconsin Badgers. Didn't lose too many guys.
No, they did lose a big piece, though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It seems like it's plug and play at running back for Wisconsin. They, with their offensive line, maybe the best offensive line in football. They just stick anybody back there and they're gonna run for 1,000 yards. It's
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you got Jack Cohn. Looks like, I mean, it's going to through for 2,700 yards. You got a guy with an arm. You know, he's.
And Nakia Watson, he ran for 300 yards last year, and that's playing behind Jonathan Taylor. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even a starter. I mean, it's playing behind somebody. And most of these guys we've been looking at, 100, 150 yards playing behind somebody that starts. To have 300 yards, I mean, that's good. But again, man, that offensive line made a second string running back able to run for 300 yards.
It seemed like Jonathan Taylor was running the ball about 40 times a game. It was unreal. He's a horse.
Yeah, I mean, losing him hurts. That hurts.
The Colts, they got a good pick there, I think. If this running back's not to the Jonathan Taylor level, that automatically is going to make it harder on Jack Cohn. So,
yeah,
I mean, we'll see.
Because he was throwing the ball. He threw the ball a lot, to get 2,700 yards. If the running back doesn't work out, you're going to expect, 3,000 plus if you want to stay.
It's 2,700 yards, but it's also only 18 touchdown passes. That tells you when they were getting down in the red zone, the ball wasn't in his hands.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. Should be a good team. I think they'll be all right.
I mean, they got a winnable schedule.
Oh, yeah. First three should be easy, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
And, I mean, Minnesota's tough. This schedule is about as easy as it gets for Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, that in hand leads you to the 10-4 record they had last year. Now, that was with an elite running back, though. So it's going to be interesting what they do when they get to the red zone this year.
Move on to 15. The Texas Longhorns.
Big quarterback coming back.
Yep, Sam Elliott coming back. That's big for them.
That's huge.
They've lost receivers, though.
Two of them. Two of their guys. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Because, I mean, if you got a quarterback that can throw the ball, but you're not 100% safe with your receivers, then
Well, I don't know what his stats were, but he could run the ball too. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
he ran for over 600 yards last year.
Yeah, he does it all.
That's a big help when you can make plays happen with your legs. I mean, Lamar Jackson proves that in the NFL. When you can make plays happen with your legs, you can make a lot happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you want to. He's kind of found that medium, like a Patty Mahomes, where you can
Yep.
run if you need to, or you can drop back and throw it, and that's dangerous when you can do both.
I mean, we're looking at two decent receivers. I mean, they didn't do a whole lot last year, but that just shows you how important the two guys were that they lost. But I mean, these guys are gonna have to step up.
Yep, I do
I
like
mean,
Deontay Ingram. I think he's a good player. He'll be
yep.
good. And they got a freshman coming in. I don't know much about him. BJ and Robinson
Bajan.
beats me, but
But I mean, this is why we do this. He could have a breakout season.
could do it.
I mean,
Texas. Well, it, we'll get to hear it again. Is Texas back? Maybe.
it's every
Wait,
year.
I see it. Yep, they're right there. I mean, they're inching up at least. So I don't
You
know.
got you got Oklahoma third game of the season. That's a big game. That's a really big game.
Man, that could be a conference championship preview game right there.
Exactly. And then West Virginia down there towards the bottom of the season. I mean, being a West Virginia fan, that's probably an easy win.
Yeah, but they have to come into West Virginia, so that's never easy.
Yeah. I mean, being West Virginia fans, we know what Sam Ehlinger's capable of.
Oh, I'm wrong too. They're not. They're West Virginia's going in there, so that makes it a lot easier.
Move on to 14.
Yeah, let's move on to 14.
Texas A&M
The
lost
Aggies.
lost two receivers.
Yeah. Courtney Davis. I think he was pretty good.
But I mean, you're bringing back a guy that shows that he can play, and your other top one missed games due to injury. So it'd be unfair to say that he's not going to do anything because he didn't play last year really.
Their quarterback too, Kellen Mond. He's good.
Yeah,
I threw for almost 2,900 yards last year, 20 touchdowns, 9 picks.
I mean 501 rushing. Another seems to be a common thing. It keeps turning up is these guys are running the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something the coaches are big on getting into or not, but a lot of these guys are putting up stats in the rushing department.
Well, I think that's the way. Well, I think NCAA's been that way for a while, and now that the NFL's headed that way too. They want an athletic quarterback that can back and throw it or beat you with their leg.
Again, everybody's looking for that Patty Mahomes mix, and I think he does it. He does it great.
Well, yeah, he's got him and Russell Wilson probably the top two guys.
They're
And
going
then
to
you got
hurt you with their legs or their arm. I mean,
more. Well, I mean, Carson Wentz can run it. Prescott can run it if he has to. Kyler Murray will run it.
yeah,
Lamar
he'll
Jackson
run it.
sure run it.
Lamar Jackson kind of lived off that a little bit,
So
and that makes your defense work harder when you have a quarterback like that. They don't because you can't set up your defense to cover both at the same time. You got to pick.
you have to keep a linebacker spine just in case the guy does take off. That's just, I mean, that's a account for. It puts a big more stress on your defense, and That's why it's so popular, I guess. The guys that can do it and do it well have they get nice paychecks for sure. Just look at Mahomes.
I also just noticed that they did lose a running back this year.
Corbin, yeah, I don't know.
So we're looking at Isaiah Spiller to come in and be the guy. Of course, he also, I mean, he almost ran for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, 10 touchdowns, so
It's
he's
not, he's not, he knows what he's doing.
yeah.
He's got the experience, I guess is what I was trying to say. You know, you got some of these guys coming in that, you know, either they're freshmen or they were injured. Having a guy that's healthy and's coming in and he knows the offense well, that'll be good.
Move on to 13.
Yeah, number 13.
Oklahoma State Cowboys. They have one of my favorite college players.
Big fan of the running back at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard is. If you don't know, you need to find out because he's exciting. He's fun to watch.
I mean, just look up the dude's stats and then compare him to your other running backs in the league.
Yeah,
The dude ran for over 2,000 yards.
21 touchdowns.
20. That just tells you right there that he is the guy. Like he's getting the ball.
I know Etienne Simpson gets a lot of love, but I would take Hubbard.
And no offense to the quarterback, but when you've got a running back that good, you don't have to rely on the quarterback as much.
No.
As long as your offensive line can block, that's what you need. But, I mean, with the quarterback situation, they're bringing in – I mean, he was a freshman last year, threw for over 2,000 and 16 touchdowns. So that tells you right there.
Yeah, well, the Big 12 is going to put up numbers anyway on offense. All of them do. But
Yeah.
he's a good player. He did lose. I mean, just looking at it, looks like he lost all of his receivers. I don't know who he's got coming in this year.
They lost 3 receivers. I didn't even notice that. Wow.
Tylan Wallace is coming back. And I remember
Had a knee injury.
pretty sure Dylan Stoner was torching us last year.
It'd be interesting to watch with that knee injury. And guys that have injuries like that, it seems to be something that could find its way back.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Chuba's gonna be the guy again this year. I mean,
Yeah, that's
he's a fun guy to watch though. I like
he
Chuba.
I guess we'll get into it in a little later, but he's got to be one of the top candidates for Heisman going into the season, I would assume.
Yeah. For
He's
sure.
He's that good.
I mean, 13 games, 21 touchdowns, over 2,000 yards. And if you'll look, he's the only guy to do that to rush for 2,000 last year. I mean, that says something.
Yep.
Yeah, man, they're going to be a fun team to watch. I mean, you're starting off West Virginia, Kansas, Baylor.
Oh Lord, yeah. We get him first game.
We get to see Chuba straight out first before anybody.
That's awesome. When COVID's been limiting practices and all this, and then you get to go face Chuba Hubbard first game.
We got the Seals brothers though, so I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see if they can manage to stop him at all. If they can stop him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if we could keep him 100 yards, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I don't think
man, they're 8-5 last year. I see a lot of potential to win more than 8 games this year.
they could. The Big 12's tough. And Kansas, easy win for them. But really, after that, maybe I don't know. Kansas State might be an easy win. Texas Tech.
We'll see where Iowa State's at by week 4, but that could be a good matchup. Oklahoma State, Iowa State.
That could be a big time matchup. Yeah.
But like I said, we'll have to see where Oklahoma State and where they're at after week 3, going into week 4. But yeah, man, it'll be tough.
Number 12, the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
The first thing I notice is that they did bring back a quarterback.
Yep, Tanner Morgan. I don't know how he was last year. Name sounds
3,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 picks.
Oh, that's big time play.
30 touchdowns. It just tells you that maybe they don't trust the run as much.
Oh. Yeah, probably not. He didn't.
Muhammad Ibrahim.
Sure.
Sorry, we're butchering that name.
Ran it for 114 last year for 604 yards. It's a good average. He was busting out 5.3 a clip, but it's not a whole. I don't know if
they lost one receiver, so maybe that's where they. Yeah, they got Rashad Bateman that went for over 1,200 last year.
Okay.
That shows you the go-to guy.
And that's where they were putting up their offense then. It was through the air, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely throw the ball. Which,
that could be a fun team to watch.
And teams that just air it out. I like teams like that, man. Just run down the field and we're going to throw it. Get there and catch it.
11-2 last year. I remember forever they were undefeated deep into the season last year.
Yeah.
They're a good team.
Michigan State missed it off the bat.
They could challenge for a Big Ten championship for sure.
11-2, man. Wow. I didn't notice that. I forgot about that though. They were undefeated for a long time last year.
It was deep in the season, I feel like. No Ohio State on the schedule apparently, so.
That'll be good. Bringing back that receiver really helps you.
Move on to number 11.
Number 11, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Now, like we said earlier, they will be competing in the ACC because that's what they were really going to do this year anyways.
Yeah. Well, they had the opportunity to compete for the ACC champion. Well, I guess they still do. We're talking like the ACC's playing, so.
Yeah, the ACC's still going. The ACC's still on.
I don't know.
At the time of this video, the ACC's still going.
Notre Dame's schedule, though, I don't know who they're playing. I know most conferences aren't playing. I guess they'll have ACC teams on the schedule. I don't know if they can fill out a full schedule with those.
That'll be interesting to see. They got a tough couple of first games too.
Oh yeah, I manufactured this schedule, so this one's all me put together to welcome them to the ACC. I gave them the best the ACC had to offer.
You gave them Clemson's second game at Clemson. It's not like they're traveling.
Yeah.
After fighting Miami. But hey, man, they're bringing back Ian Book. Right, he was over 3,000 last year. 34 touchdowns. He's another one of them guys. He's throwing a lot.
Yeah, I think they're let me see. Yeah, their run game's pretty much non-existent because Tony Jones Jr. Is that his name? Tony Jones Jr. He left.
Tony Jones Jr. Yep.
Yeah, so they're both guys they got coming back. We'll see what they do now that they got the ball in their hands. One of them.
Yeah, man. That might be the best thing for them. Let them shine. Give them the ball. split carries, however you feel need to, but let them go out there and run.
Yeah. They're going to be tested, though, right off the bat. First 2 weeks be tough.
Yeah, that's a heck of a schedule you gave them on. But hey, like you said, welcome to the ACC. We're here to play.
Okay,
right,
we're going to stop it there for episode 1 of the COVID countdown. Hope everyone enjoyed watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy it, and please leave a comment. Let us know what we could change going forward. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for part 2 when we reveal our top 10 of the COVID countdown and we start the regular season.